What's up guys, welcome back to another video. And in this video I'm going to be telling you guys how you can make yourself some cool Evil Dead thumbnails. And I'm just going to show you the way that I personally like to make my thumbnails, and then hopefully it can help you guys out as well. So these are some examples of the thumbnails I use. This is one of my live stream thumbnails. I make sure to always have live stream in red so you guys know that it's a live stream. And then, I have some of my regular thumbnails here. And I've been getting a few compliments on my thumbnails, and I think I'm getting a little bit better with them as I keep going on. I am not the best artistic person when it comes to thumbnails, but I feel like they look pretty decent. I like how they look. So hopefully if you guys are struggling making good thumbnails, then hopefully I can help you in this video. I'm going to show you guys how I do it. So the first thing you would need is obviously some type of Photoshop program. I have Adobe Photoshop. Now if you don't want to pay for Adobe Photoshop, you can just go on YouTube and figure out how to download it for free. That's basically what I did. I always just go on YouTube and find out how to download it for free, and then you have the Photoshop. Once you figure that out, then you are ready to open up. We're going to start a new one here, and you're going to do 1280 by 720. That way we can start our thumbnail fresh. So first we're going to get started with the background. Now the background doesn't really matter in this because we're going to blurry it up. But for example, this menu right here, we're just going to take a quick screenshot of this. You guys can do that through OBS or through whatever you're using to record. You can screenshot the background, and that way we're going to use that for our thumbnail. So we're going to screenshot this background right here. Another way you can do it, if you guys can't screenshot it off your thing, you can, if you're on console and you're able to take a screenshot, you could just take a screenshot like this. And after you take the screenshot, what I like to do is I like to send the screenshot to either my second account in the messages that way. So we're going to send it like this. So this is my second account, so I'm not just sending it to a random person. Once you send it, now if you have the app on your phone, so if you have the PlayStation app on your phone, Xbox, I don't know if it works the same way. If you have the app on your phone, I could go on my phone now, download the image, and then after you go on the app and you save the image on your phone, what I can do is I can either post it in my Discord. That way I can just click it right here, hit save image, and then I could save it to my files, and that way we can add it to the Photoshop. Obviously that's the long way to do it if you can't do it from your game capture device, but obviously I just snapshot it from OBS, and that makes it a lot easier for me. So once we have our picture, now we can set it. So we're gonna go to quick access, go find the picture that you just downloaded. This screen here doesn't really matter because we're gonna blur it up anyway. So once you get the picture in here, make it full screen. Then we're gonna go to filter, we're gonna go to blur, and I like using the motion blur. And you can see, now that's how we get that cool blur effect in my thumbnails. Now, if you don't like this, you obviously can change it up. You can change up the angle, the distance, if you want to make it less blurry, more blurry like that. I just like making it blurry. And then if you want, you could also go up here to where it says brightness and contrast, and you can like brighten it up if you want to make it brighter. And then you can mess with the contrast if you want. So we're going to keep it like this for now, because you want some bright colors in the background to really make it pop. So once we have our background set, now we can start adding in some pictures. So now we're going to find ourselves an Evil Dead logo. You always want to have the logo of the game. So you can go to Google and type in Evil Dead logo PNG. PNG means that it won't have no background. That way you can post it like that. So we're going to click on this one, and we're going to use this one as an example. And then we're going to place it in here. And you can see it has no background on it. And you can place it where you want. So we're going to make it smaller here. And I like to normally put it up in the corners. And then boom, we have our logo. That way when people know, when they see the thumbnail, they know what game it is. So now we need our characters. How I get my characters in my thumbnails is when you're on the game, you go to collections, you go over to whatever character you're using, whether it's a certain survivor or a certain demon. And my favorite demon to do the thumbnail with is Puppeteer, mainly because I like adding the lightning and stuff. So we're going to use him for this example. So when you go here, all you gotta do is hit R2 or whatever the button is to show character, and you basically get, free picture of him. And you can get, if you want to zoom out and get more of his body for the thumbnail, I normally like to get about like halfway. Oh, not that close, god damn. About halfway. So like right here is good. And then you can hit slow-mo, so now he's like basically frozen. And you guys can copy the same technique. So you can either screenshot through your game capture OBS, or you can even screenshot after the fact. When you're editing it in your software, if you have a screenshot option, you can screenshot it like that as well. Or you could do the other option I told you, to screenshot it off the PlayStation and do the same method. So we're going to screenshot Puppeteer. And if you're doing a demon, when you scroll right, they have all the other deadites as well. If you want to add them in the, oh, that's pretty scary. If you want to add more deadites to or demons to the thumbnails, you can do that as well. So you can play around with that. But for this one, we're just going to use Puppeteer. So now when you have the character or characters you're going to use, now we're going to add them here. So what I do is I go to the location where they are saved. So you can see all my screenshots are saved right here. All my survivors that I use for past thumbnails. And we're going to place the Puppeteer one. So on the bottom here, sadly, we can't like get rid of this when we take the picture. So what I like to do is I make the picture a little bit bigger, bring it down a little bit so that way get rid of that bar. And then we're going to crop out the boss here. So on the left side, I like to pick this tool right here, which is the quick selection tool. So when you click it here up top, you want to click the one with the plus. And for this, I put size, I just put 20, 100% hardness, 25% spacing. Now I'm not a Photoshop expert, so this is just how I personally like to do it. If you guys are more advanced with Photoshop skills, you would have a much easier time. So once you have this clicked and you have the plus one, now we just click on his head and it slowly starts to outline his body. If it starts to mess up a little bit, don't worry, because you can edit it afterwards. So we're just going to click down his arm, and I like to do it, you can drag it and try to do the whole body, but then you could mess up and it won't be as neat. So I just like to do it little by little, make sure we perfectly get the arm, and it should like auto connect on his stuff, like auto trace. So don't worry if you get on the hands and it's not perfect. And we're just going to do this for the whole body. We're going to click down his whole body, basically do this until his whole body is outlined. Now you can see it basically opened up here and covered the whole thing, which is fine because we're going to edit it now. So he's going to get his fingers here. So once you have him outlined like this, he still has the red in between. Now what I can do is now I click the square up here. I right click, hit layer via copy, and then on the right side I go to the background one and I delete it. So now you can see we have the background gone, but we still have this redness in here. So what I do is you go back to the quick selection tool, and we're going to try to click on the red here and try to get that outlined as best as we can. Don't worry if it's a little sloppy. Now you see how some of it's going on the arm and stuff. We go on the top left, take the one with the minus now, and you want to slowly just hold it and drag it off the part that you don't want to cut. So you can see it's just going off the body right on the red. I think this is pretty good. Then we're going to delete, and you can see it deletes all that red stuff right there. And then boom, we got rid of that. And then you do the same thing for the other side. Okay, so like this. So let's say you're having trouble getting the thing to perfectly, go around. That's why you hit the minus tool and you just slowly get it off the part you do not want to delete. So I'm trying to make sure I don't cut off his fingers here. The fingers are the hardest part probably when using this tool. I'm going to go up his arm. There we go. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, we almost got it perfectly outlined. We're going to try to click it here. A little bit is on his arm. If you guys really want to get technical with this, you can. Normally, I just play around it. So, should delete it. That's good. You can deselect. That way it get rid of that. If you want to get rid of this part right here, do the same thing. Just going to delete it like that. Then we're going to try to get rid of the red part between his hands. His hands is more complicated because, his fingers are like shaped weird. So we're going to see if we can get that out. Okay, we got this little part right here, which I'm going to just use the square one to delete that. Now, if you have some red in it between his fingers, that's going to be okay. So now when we have it cropped out, when you have the background cropped out, what you can do is hit Control T, and this way we can change the size. Now, when you hold Alt and Shift at the same time, and then you can drag it out, and it'll open evenly. So we make it too big here. Now, for the title of this video, let's pretend it's going to be... Actually, this is going to be the thumbnail for this video. So, now that we added him in, we're going to go to Filter up top, Sharpen. I like to do Smart Sharpen, and that just gives him a little bit more color and brightness to him. So with Puppeteer, he has that lightning ability. He's everything with a thunder strike and stuff. So I'd like to add that in the thumbnail to showcase like his ability. So we're going to go back to Google, and I'm going to type in Blue Lightning PNG. So that way we find some lightning without PNG behind it. And I think this is the one I use. So we're going to save this again. And then we're going to open it in Photoshop here. The one we just saved. And then boom, we have lightning now. So you can play around with this to get it the best way you can. So normally I like to do, I put it down here. Then if you hit Control J, you can just copy it. And then I hit Control T, that way move this one. So I like to do this part as if it's coming behind him. Like that. So if you want to get the lightning to go behind his body, just drag it on the right side, drag it below that, and look, now it seems like the lightning's behind him, which is perfect. Then we're going to do Control J again to copy, and then we're going to move that copy around. And I just like to get the lightning strike around him, so it looks like he's doing some crazy lightning ability. So for the bottom one, I'm actually going to rotate it a little bit. And I'm just going to get it down here just to look like you have some lightning here, but it's not fully covering his body. And then we're going to put one on the right side. We're going to drop this below his body here. And then boom, you can see we have the lightning around him. Now, if you don't want so much lightning, so it doesn't look sloppy, I feel like this kind of looks sloppy. I used too much lightning here, but you guys get the example. And then for the text. So for the text, I like to use, there's a lot of text I like to use, but big noodle titling is probably one of my favorite ones to use. So let's put, for the title of this thumbnail, Evil Dead. So the first line is going to be Evil Dead. We're going to raise that. Then we're going to double click it on the right side. We're going to add a drop shadow to it. Now this is the drop shadow settings I like to use. It's not going to be like this by default. You have to put these settings in, just copy this. And then if you want to save it, hit just make default. So then normally I just copy the first text. That way we can just edit it without having to keep putting the shadow on it. Thumbnail. So Evil Dead. Thumbnail, and then we copy it again. Tutorial. And then boom. If you want to add color to the text, you can. Sometimes I personally just like the white color. Then just place the text how you want it. Then if you want to change the colors of any text, all you gotta do is just highlight it. And then on the left side, you just go to the color and then pick which color you want to use for the text. Now for this one, I'm going to use green. Normally, I don't like to use all the same colors. That way it doesn't look stale. Now I know this is kind of a mediocre thumbnail, but you can see it's much better than a lot of the thumbnails I've been seeing on the Evil Dead. And it's very simple, very easy, especially when you keep doing it. You could get a lot better at it. You can add any type of characters you want. So if you're doing a video on like Kelly or Amanda or Henrietta, you can basically get their photos in the thumbnail like this, add some cool effects. For example, like this one right here for Henrietta, I just typed in like green gas or green smoke on Google PNG, and we added it around her because that's basically her ability. For Evil Ash, I put like red lightning, so I used the blue lightning and I just changed the color to red, and that way we made it look more, because I think his colors are more like red, so that's why I put it like that. So this is like one of my live stream ones. And the way I got his page in this one, you can see I did the lightning as well, and I got his skill tree page right here. I did the same technique. I screenshotted the skill tree, and then I cropped it out with the same tool. And then, I got the edges, and I added some dark shadow behind it. And then, boom, we put it right next to him, and that's how we got this thumbnail as well. But hopefully this video helped you guys out in some sort of way. If it did, hit that thumbs up. And if you have your own questions or tips of your own of how to make thumbnails, you can also put them in the comments below, because I would love to hear them. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.